The holidays are my favorite time of the year, especially when it comes to card making. So today I have 6 different card ideas that I want to share with you that feature 3 different holidays. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have 6 different card ideas to share with you that feature 3 different holidays. Now, the cool thing about these cards, besides the fact that they're easy, is that I was able to create all 6 of them from one stamp set. The stamp set is called Banner Year, and it has a variety of different images in it that you can use for creating cards for Halloween, for autumn or Thanksgiving, for Christmas, and even some love-themed cards. Now, you can also grab this stamp set in a bundle, which means that it comes with this fun little punch. And this is called the Banners Pick-a-Punch. So there's actually 6 different sizes of banners that you can create. So you can make your banners a 1/2 inch wide, 3/4 inches wide, or 1 inch. And it's got 2 different shapes that you can use to create your banners. So we're going to be using this punch and the stamp set to create our holiday cards today. Okay, so one of the cool things about the cards that I'm going to be sharing with you today is that I've actually reused the design. So I've shared this idea with you a couple of times, and I'm going to continue to do that. So as you can see, the first 3 cards that I have to share with you here, they are all for a different occasion, for a different holiday. But you'll notice that the design is exactly the same. So I have the exact same kind of focal point in the center here, and then I have a little banner that kind of goes across my focal point, which I created using the punch and the stamp set. So I'm going to walk you through the creation of one of the cards, but just keep in mind that the design or the concept for creating the others is exactly the same. The only thing I changed out were the colors and, of course, the theme of the images that I'm using to create the cards. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing you will need is your card base, which I'm just using my standard card base. So this is just an 8.5 by 5.5 inch piece of cardstock that I scored in the middle here at 4.25 inches. And in this particular case, with the Halloween card, I decided to emboss the front of my card using the Cobweb 3D embossing folder. And the other supplies you will need is a piece of white cardstock cut at 2.5 by 3.5 inches. And then a piece of colored cardstock, in this case it's Purple Posy, cut at 2 3/4 by 3 3/4 inches. So once I do the stamping on my white piece, we'll just adhere these together and this will become the focal point for the card. So let's set this stuff aside for now and we'll just focus on doing our stamping. So for my Halloween cards, I'm going to be using some pumpkin pie and Highland Heather ink and also some black ink. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do is take some of the images from the stamp set and just randomly stamp them along my white cardstock here. Okay, once you finish your stamping, then you can go ahead and just adhere that piece directly to the colored cardstock. And we'll just set this aside for now. So we're going to go ahead and create the banner for this card. So I'm going to go ahead and use this shape to create my banner. So one of the things that I noticed about this particular punch is that you'll want to cut your paper 1/4 inch longer. So I'm going to go about 3.25 inches long. So I want to make sure this piece is at least 3.5 inches long, because when it cuts off the end of each, it ends up cutting off about 1/4 inch. So just a little tip for you. And you'll notice how easy this is to use. It just slides right in this groove. So I'm using the 1/2 inch wide groove. And then the next one up is 3/4 inch, and then the largest one is 1 inch. So that's how you can cut 3 different sizes. All right, so there's our banner. So we'll go ahead and stamp a little Halloween greeting on it. Okay, so we have our little Halloween greeting all ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to take my stamped images and I'm just going to pop them up on the card. So I have a couple dimensionals behind it. And then my banner, I'm just going to add some glue right across here. And then we'll just find a good spot where it doesn't cut too much stuff off. Probably right here. And we'll just adhere that. And then of course you can add some embellishments to your card. So I'm just going to use some of the iridescent pearls. Okay, so here's the Halloween card. Now I'm going to bring back the other cards. So as you can see, this is the autumn themed card. So I just used different images from the set, different colors, and I did my random stamping on the exact same size paper. Just changed out the colors and the background. And then here's the Christmas one. So you'll notice with the autumn themed and the Christmas one, I didn't do any embossing in the background, but you certainly could. So it's the same concept, same kind of random stamping of Christmas images this time. And then this time I created the banner using the different shape. So it's the exact same layout, measurements, and design. But yet I put together 3 different cards for different occasions. Okay, the next card idea that I want to share with you features another fun way to use the banners. We're actually going to use the banners as a backdrop for our card. So let me show you how to make these cards. Again, we're going to focus on the Halloween one, but then I'll bring back the other cards and we'll kind of walk through them all together. Okay, so we're going to start with a piece of black cardstock for the base of our card. And to create the backdrop for this card, you will need 5 different pieces of cardstock. So I'm using Purple Posy cardstock, and each of these pieces measure 3/4 inches wide and they're 5 inches long. So you will need 5 of them. So that will be the backdrop for our card. And then you will also need an additional piece of cardstock. This is going to be for your greeting. That's going to go across the whole backdrop once we create it. So this piece is 1 by 4 1/4 inches. Okay, so let's start out by creating our banners first before we do the stamping. So since this is 3/4 inches wide, you'll notice that it fits in the second slot here. And I'm going to use this style, kind of that pointed style instead of the inverted banner here. So we're just going to punch all of these and create this fun little design on the end. So one of the things you'll want to keep in mind is you'll want to make sure that you cut these pretty close to the 3/4 inch. If they're a little bigger than 3/4 inches wide, they're not, like this one is just a hair larger. It's gonna slide in a little bit tighter. So you'll wanna get it as close to 3/4 inches as you can to avoid what I'm doing right now. Okay, so now we have all of our pieces cut for the backdrop of the card. I'm also going to go ahead and cut the one I'm using for my sentiment. So notice how this one is 1 inch. So that fits on the very top. It follows the very top track here. Isn't that cool? This is just so cool that you can use 3 different widths of paper to create some fun little banners. So now that we have all of our banners created here, we are going to stamp our little spider webs on there. So I'm going to be using Highland Heather to do my stamping. And so again, it's just going to be random stamping all the way down the banner. And then you're just going to repeat this with all 5 of the banners here. And you'll want to make them just a little bit different. I mean, they don't have to be extremely different, but it's okay if they are different, because when we go to adhere them, we're going to be layering them together. And so it'll give it a nice, fun look. Okay, so now that we have all of our banners created here, let's bring back our card front. So what I like to do is just kind of lay out my pattern, how I want to do this. So I like to stagger the look here, and this will give me a rough idea of how I want this to look. So we're just going to be kind of overlapping them together like that. All right, I always kind of start on the left, and then you're just going to stagger these kind of up and down. So it's just kind of a random pattern. Okay, so there's the basic layout. So now let's just go ahead and stamp our greeting. So I'm just using one of the Halloween greetings, just stamping it in black right in the center of my banner. Okay, so now I just added a couple dimensionals. We'll just pop this right up on the card here. And then I also cut out a couple little bat images. So I stamped these on a scrap piece of paper. And then I'm just popping these up on the card. And yes, I cut these out by hand. And then again, for the finishing touch, we're just going to add a couple little iridescent pearls. Okay, so here's the Halloween design. So I just showed you how to make that. And then this is the fall themed card. So this is probably one of my favorites, but I love that autumn theme or that fall theme. So for this one, you can see that I stamped different images on each of these banners. Here I stamped the exact same image. So this is just another fun look and a different way of creating a card. And then I made a little thinner banner just to kind of go along with my greeting. And then the Christmas one, well, I did the same thing. I just kind of stamped some images here on some of the white pieces of paper. And then the red pieces, I just embossed them with, you know, one of my embossing folders. You can use any embossing folder that you have. And then I just created a little different banner to go across my backdrop. I kind of layered two banners together. So this is the 3/4 and the 1 inch. So it was just a fun way to use that banner punch. So these are very quick and simple card ideas and lots of different ways that you can use the banners to create a fun little background on your card. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 6 different holiday card ideas featuring the Banner Year stamp set. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.